Hello, my name is Bruce Tanis. I'm the CEO of Luna Media and Connect for Commerce. Over the course of my career, I've been an entrepreneur, a business coach, and a business lender. And what that's taught me is that it's very important as an entrepreneur to continue to develop your entrepreneurial skill set. That is why I've created this series of interviews with entrepreneurs, experts, and people who have been there and done that, so that you can get some business tips, practical business tips, to help you solve your everyday business problem. Today we're discussing exiting and selling a business with Sid Van der Meer. Sid was the owner of Northwest Equipment in Airdrie, Alberta until 2014 when he sold his business and retired. Thanks for joining us today, Sid.
You're welcome. Great to be here.
I'm glad you are. Let's start by asking you, can you give me a bit of background on your company?
Sure. Northwest Equipment came out of a company that we had originally called Britannia Compressor. We sold that business in 1997, and I stayed with it till 1999 and took most of 1999 off, just kind of reflecting on what to do. From there, the vision came up to start Northwest Equipment and take it to the level that I had envisioned for the original company before we sold it. And we started in 2000 with 4 of us. There was 3 other partners and myself. One was my wife. We started the industrial side of the business, and we grew. And in 2004, we moved the business to Airdrie and got well entrenched into the oil and gas packaging business. We needed a larger facility. The company grew from 4 employees. We were about 9 employees when we moved to Airdrie, and then we grew to 27 employees, and then we moved to the next level. We really added value to our business, and again, we were in the industrial market, in the oil and gas specialty packaging internationally. And when we sold the business in 2014, we had 42 employees, 3 locations in Canada, 1 in Edmonton, 1 in Stoney Creek, and in Airdrie, and we sold the business August 31st, 2014.
So overall, how long did you own the company?
This company was 14 years, and we grew it to be a not just a supplier to the industry. We were a technical supplier in the industry. We dealt a lot with engineering firms. We developed relationships with them, and we were the 4th utility in every manufacturing facility. So every manufacturing facility would have air, water, natural gas, and compressed air. And we were the 4th utility, and we really took it to that level, treating it like utility with our customers.
Tell us a little bit about how you grew the company.
Okay, so as I said, we first started up the equipment side on the industrial, and as we started to grow the business, I was approached by the company that we sold our previous company to, and they were interested in selling off the compressed air division. They were staying in the natural gas side of things. So we struck a deal with them to acquire back the compressed air side of the business from the previous company.
Right.
And that brought us to, again, that other level. So we then grew from there, and that was why the move to Airdrie. And then we also understood that we needed to divest our company from just the Alberta market, and that's why we opened up an operation in Stoney Creek to handle Eastern Canada, and we did a lot in the aluminum foundry business in Quebec, and specialty packaging for salt mine industry in Ontario, anything that required non-traditional industrial areas where we shone.
Okay. And so after all this time and growth, how did you know it was time to sell your business and retire?
I was given something by a mentor of mine, my brother, my oldest brother, who owned shipbuilding companies in the Netherlands. He gave me one time on a visit that you need to spend 10% of every day what you're going to be doing 3 years from now. And I really took that to heart. So part of my job as the president of the company was always to be looking 3-4 years in advance to see things that we were going to be doing, start putting those plans together. And the theory was that when you got there, it was already operating and rolling. So I knew that Northwest Equipment was ready to go to another level again in about 2011, 2012, and sat down with the owners, and it really came back to the will and the want of the current owners. How far did we want to go how much is enough is always the question. How much is enough money? Not to say that we're rich or anything like that, but identified that we needed to move the company forward, and the current owners were looking at their exodus plan. So in 2011, I started putting together the process.
Okay, that makes sense. So how long did it take from the time you decided to sell the business until you were ready to put it on the market?
2011, I started to put the thoughts together, and the original thought was to do a business management opportunity for our key management employees, to let them acquire the business from us, or some call it an ESOP, but we weren't looking at all employees. So I started to develop the structure of our management group, got them totally involved in operations, financial reviews, operation reviews, and in 2012 we hired a consultant to come in and work with us and to develop the employees to make sure that we were on the right path. And it took a while to go through that part of the business, and after about a year or so it was just decided that the BMO was not right for them and their families. We then made the decision that we were going to put it on the market, and listed the company in the latter part of 2012.
Okay. And how long did it take to sell business once it was on the market?
2012 started out gangbusters. We were working with, again, this consultant who put together all the work that we needed to do. And then the 2013 bit of a crash happened, and we needed to restructure some of the things that we were doing in our business. So we went through 2013 restructuring some of the areas that we needed to strengthen the business. And then in the spring of 2014, we really got active with it, and then the sale occurred August 31st.
Okay. So a little over a year, basically.
A good couple of years is what it took, from 2012 to 2014. So year and a half, 2 years.
Year and a half, okay. Fair enough. What were some of the key issues that you needed to address before the business went on the market?
There's a lot of things to take into consideration when selling a business. It's not like selling a house. You just don't call your realtor and list it and hope in 90 days that you're done. You need to get your best value. You need to be not needed in your business. And I called it working myself out of a job. So developing my management group, making sure that the business operated without me in a daily aspect of it. I always relied on, I called it the telephone messages, the spike with the pink messages, which then changed to emails. And if I disappeared from the business for a while, I would check my messages that came in, and if there was just, Bruce phoning me up to say, hey, are you available for lunch? That was a good message. But if I had a customer phoning and they had an issue or a problem, then our processes weren't working properly. And we also had to get our, we were a really tight company. We ran our finances really tight, but there was a lot of things that we needed to put in place. And our consultant helped us look at our business from 10,000 feet to really identify who we were and our relationships with our vendors and our clients, and how we fit all of that to really give the value to the company.
Okay. And what was your biggest hope with your business for finding a new owner going into the process of selling?
The ultimate goal, I always said that we were responsible for 42 Christmas dinners. We had 42 employees, and we really took to heart that we were the influence and the responsibility that these families all did well. So it was really important that the new structure would support as many employees, if not all the employees, but also support the relationships that we had with our vendors, because we were a key part of their businesses, but also the relationship with our clients and how that was going to transition forward.
So I know a lot of businesses worry about their suppliers, their vendors, competitors, employees finding out. How did you handle that?
That took a lot of time, again, working with our consultants on how to approach that. Any news about the sale of a business is never in a positive light. It's always the negative. Why are they getting out of the business? The business is, crashing, downfall, etc. We were trying to put a real positive on it. So in the moving forward plan, and once we decided that the BMO was not going to work with the business management opportunity, and our managers knew that we were going to be selling the company. Mom and Dad were leaving, as we put it, right? So we developed the golden handshake plan with the management team so that they stayed on focus and within the plan. But we also then worked with our key suppliers, and I personally went to each of those suppliers to let them know what our plan was. Because it's important from a vendor's perspective too, that our business continues to keep their market share that they have. Okay. So we sat down with their senior management and let them know that we were putting together this plan and transitioning our business. And then we also worked with Key. But as we went through the process of determining who potential buyers were, we spent a lot of time filtering those people. I made it very clear that we were not connecting with any competitors. Our broker at that time, or our agent that we had, was really good at developing a teaser sheet, just giving the teaser information out there. Then we'd bring the NDA in, we would review the potential buyer and have a signed NDA, and again, they're only as good as the paper they're written on, but we spent a lot of time doing that in advance of really getting serious with anybody.
As you mentioned, you had a larger, smaller business, and you worked with a broker. What do you think are the pros and cons of working with a business broker?
I think it's really good to have that third-party objective view. Everybody gets really involved in their business, and you see it from your perspective. He challenged us to look at our marketplace, to look at our relationships with our clients, look at our operating systems, to look at our financials, to really dig into our business. And he developed a document, a confidential information memorandum that was 172 pages on our business. And after I read that, I decided that I wanted to buy the business. It was it really made us go through that. And I believe, and I was told by some of the suitors that it really brought value to the company, that they saw the professionalism that was put into the presentation and the information and the openness of our business. And we had a business to run still. We couldn't separate from it totally. So again, bringing the agent in really helped us that way. And if there was any areas that were of concern or question, he was able to bring it forward and we could address them. He also did work with our accountants, our legal advisors, looking at CRA, and also looking at our retirement estate planning and how the deal was going to be structured, because there's all different aspects to it. So he helped bring all of that together. It's like selling a house, you don't like to pay the commission, but sometimes it's really worthwhile. And it was beneficial in the whole process.
So your company had interest from a number of buyers. What criteria did you use to determine if they were a serious candidate?
We would research that company first of all to see who they were, where did they fit in the marketplace, and what were the synergies between our business and their business. What was their desire and what benefit would it be to them to acquire us. And then we also looked at any other acquisitions that they had done and what happened to those. If I go back to the earlier question, our relationship with our employees was paramount to us. And then also the relationship again with the vendors and the customers to kind of make sure that that was going to move forward. I wanted to be able to drive down the road and meet a client and be able to shake his hand and know that he was being looked after, or meet with a vendor, or like you say, the employee. So those were the important aspects of it. And that they had the financial structure also to put this deal together.
Right. And so that kind of lends itself to the next question, which is, what did you think they needed, a candidate needed in order to be a successful owner of your business?
I needed to make sure that they had the financial structure to manage the deal, that they weren't going to leverage our company to 110% to help whatever else they were doing, that they really had the finances and the management group there to take it to whatever level they were presenting they were going to do with the business. I think that was critical.
And after the sale was completed, Can you describe a little bit about your transition to the new ownership?
I can. One of the aspects that really influenced our decision on moving forward with the buyer that we did was a lot of companies will come in, they'll offer you a price, and then they'll offer you a bonus based on future earnings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like selling your house. Once you put it up for sale, it's not yours anymore. Once you sell the business, it's not yours anymore. And they control the destiny of it, and you have to rely on what they told you. And I've seen so many businesses where the people have stayed on for 2, 3, 4 years later, and it really was hard on them because decisions were being made that they couldn't influence. So in moving forward, I really wanted to make sure that my time was limited. We put the management group together. That's what they were buying, was the management group, the goodwill of the company, that if they put their ducks in line and worked with what we had, they would be successful. And that was really important. We literally sold August 31st, and we were there till mid-October, and we were gone. Always there for the phone call. We did answer questions for management for a year or two later if there was something that they needed to ask that maybe I would have the memory of, and I helped guide them that way. But yeah, that was really important to me that we didn't have to stay too long, and that there was no conditions on the buyout controlled by their finances.
Right. So what, if anything, would you change or do differently if you had the opportunity, knowing what you know now?
What I know now, I think we did an excellent job in reviewing the process and going through it. If there's anything I'd have changed, I probably would have started a year or two sooner. I think it's important that people constantly have that future business plan in front of them. What is the plan? Where do they want to go? And start putting that together early, and it does make it a lot better in the end. I've seen many businesses who did a very short sale, and it just did not turn out well for them or for the acquisition company. So I guess planning that, and bring in the resources that you need to help guide you through this. Bring in advisors from other parts of your business, your accounting department, your legal advisors, your bank, any of those types of people that you can, and ask those questions and work with them.
And if you're a small business, obviously it's going to be your accountant, your lawyer, those kinds of things.
Right, and again, that depends upon the level of the business. There is, when you sell a business to a family member, it's a lot different than if you're selling a small bakery or something to somebody that you know. That's a bit of a different structure. And as you said, we were a small, mid-sized business, so it had a different balance to it. But it is really to understand your business and understand what it is you want out of it. That's important.
Are there a few key pieces of advice you'd like to share with our viewers considering selling their businesses?
I would strongly research your business. Sit down and look at what you want in your future plan. And really try to marry those two together and then move forward. And if you're going to sell on your own or just with your accountant or what have you, make sure that you do the due diligence on who's buying you and also on your own company, and make sure that you've crossed your T's and dot your I's, and make sure there's nothing that's going to come back and haunt you from something that you might have forgotten.
Very good advice, Sid.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today about your experience selling your business and sharing your story and your wisdom.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and Bruce, I appreciate it, and I hope the viewers get something out of this, and that they follow your business, because I think this is a really good idea.
Well, thank you, Sid. And thank you for joining us today. To learn more about buying or selling your business or other business topics, check out our website at connectforcommerce.ca.